So yesterday I got to go to a preview event for some upcoming Square Enix games, and now is the best part about all of it, is that I get to talk to you about everything. This is just like a different video with different games that I have like never played, so I hope you enjoy this. If you do enjoy this, make sure you like and subscribe down below. First game I got to play, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade for the Nintendo Switch 2. This was the game I was the most excited to try because I have never ever played a Final Fantasy game in my life, but I've always been interested in Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Because I've never played it, I was going into this event with literally no baseline for comparison on different versions of the game. This is a common trend for this entire video. I'm someone who rarely focuses on tactical RPGs or turn-based combat or anything like that, so I'm a total newcomer, so I'm giving a newcomer's perspective. Now for this event, unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to film my playtime, and the B-roll provided is very limited to this official trailer running the Switch 2 version of the game, as well as some screenshots of this version as well. I was told during the event that the Switch 2 version has been optimized to run at 1080p at a locked 30 FPS in both handheld and docked mode, and for those who have played it before, you can expect it to run more in line with the PS4 Pro build of the game. That's the crazy thing about this. When they say it's comparable to the PS4 Pro build of the game, imagine that in handheld mode. That's the level of quality we're dealing with on Switch 2. The first thing I was asked to do was to try it out in handheld mode, and man, the opening cutscene looked phenomenal. In fact, I would like to reenact myself experiencing the first cutscene for the first time. Give me a second. Here we go, ready? Whoa, this looks sick! And scene. I played through the first chapter of the game, and once I grasped the basics of movement and battle, I managed to complete it in just under an hour or so. Everything played smoothly, audio and voice acting sounded great, the character models and even their hair looked really nice. It genuinely felt like a very good experience on the Switch 2 that doesn't make you feel like you're missing out on quality. This has always been one of my worries when buying third-party multi-platform Switch games, is that when you buy the Switch version, you're going to miss out on, let's say, like 60 FPS, or the visuals are just gonna be a disgusting mess.
The textures are reduced in quality, pop-in is beyond atrocious, and it just feels muddy and ugly.
This is one of the most heavily downgraded Switch conversions I've ever seen.
But this isn't the case with Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade for the Nintendo Switch 2. This is kind of really similar to Cyberpunk 2077. You know, like, it's such a big game, such a big scope, that you look at it and you see it running on the Switch 2 and you're like, how is this working? To see it running so well on Switch 2, just like Cyberpunk, really goes to show just how well developers can optimize their games. I would even go to say that it felt nicer playing in handheld mode than in docked mode. Like, docked mode was fine, don't get me wrong. It was still also a 1080p 30 FPS experience, but just playing in handheld mode, there's something about it that just felt really, really good. If you're miraculously just like me and have never played a Final Fantasy game, but you want to play Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade for the Nintendo Switch 2 and you've been holding out all this time, then good on you, because it's gonna be a good game. I had a really good time playing this, and I am very looking forward to when this game releases. There still isn't a release date, but they said sometime this winter for the Northern Hemisphere. So for me, I live in Australia, so summer, so December to February, I guess. Oh wait, you thought that was all? Oh, you thought I just jumped into one game knowing absolutely nothing? Well, let me tell you this. Octopath Traveller 0 is the prequel to the original Octopath Traveller game and the third mainline game in the series, and it's releasing on December 4th. This game features an all-new story, a new break and boost battle system, and you can create your own custom protagonist and rebuild your hometown with a brand new building system. I was chucked into the game where it asked me to construct some things for my settlement, and I was immediately worried that I would be vastly overwhelmed with all of the RPG elements at play here. If you've watched this channel for a while, you would know the games that I play. Simple platformer adventure games with a hint of Mario Kart for the common man. That's me. That's my bubble. I rarely venture out. Ever. What's that? Turn-based combat? Bye.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine.
I see turn-based combat and I am out. There's a lot of words on screen, there's a lot of numbers flying everywhere. It's normally not the game that I would play. This is clearly uncharted territory for me, but nevertheless I continued playing and realized the building was simple, quick, easy to understand. The HD 2D world was very visually pleasing to the eye. The RPG elements and dialogue were enjoyable to listen to.
You have the nerve to address me like some kid? I'll have you know I'm 20 years old!
But then came the battle system, and there is a lot to unpack with this, especially for someone who, again, knows nothing. For the first 20 minutes or so, I felt vastly overpowered and didn't feel much of a need to interact too much beyond basic attacks. There are tons of options for characters to use with different weapon classes and magic spells. In the world, you have random encounters against enemies, and I guess being dropped into a certain part of the game meant that I would have to learn on the fly. There came a defining moment where I was face to face with some bosses and realized that just mashing the same attacks over and over again wasn't going to cut it anymore. And I had to start thinking and finding out these bosses' weaknesses. I had to start going deeper than the surface level. And man, when you find those weaknesses in the bosses, that's when you really start playing. Every enemy has their weak spots where you're able to whittle down their defense to break them, where then you can go nuts on inflicting mass damage on them. There's a boost system which lets you power up your attacks as well for each of your 8 characters, giving you a nice balance of choosing to go all out or to hold back for a bit and charge up. Your party of 8 consists of 4 attackers on the front line that can switch out to their respective backline partner, giving you more flexibility on movesets and more choice in battle. It was completely overwhelming at first, until all of a sudden, it wasn't. And that's when I realized that I was having a great time playing a game that I would never have thought of playing ever. Having never played any of the previous Octopath entries or any of the HD 2D style games from Square Enix, I think this is a great place to start for those wanting to jump in who have never played before. I really think the more you put into it, the more you're gonna get out of it. So those are my first impressions of some upcoming games coming out from Square Enix. I had a great time playing, and I hope you enjoyed listening to some thoughts and feelings about games that I never normally play. If you really did enjoy this video, make sure you like and even subscribe if you're new. That would be very helpful, and I will see you around. Remember to bring your A game.